everyone, I'm Aria and welcome to today's speed build. So I was inspired by the painting career for this one. So if you reach, I don't remember what branch it is, but if you reach the end of the painting career, you are rewarded with a bed. The Rustic Dream bed, I think it's called. And it has a really nice like sunflower swatch on it. There's a blue one too, which I also really like, but especially the yellow one. So I thought I would take inspiration from that and try and build something based on that bed. So even though I think it's inspired by Van Gogh, which I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, I did look up how to pronounce his name and it's in Dutch, so it's not something that I can do. But yeah, he's Dutch. Yeah, I for some reason ended up going with more of like I feel like maybe more of an Italian kind of style for this build, which I don't know why, but I thought it was kind of fitting for the sunflowers. Maybe I don't know, the climate is about right for sunflowers, but I was inspired by that particular bed and obviously sunflowers, so now we have a sunflower cottage. So up here I wanted to create like a little window, but none of the like roof decorative pieces that we have really fit with this style other than this one that I've used, and I wanted windows in it, so I just sized down the university ones twice I think, and they fit pretty well in the gaps that are already in this roof piece, so I think it looks really cool. I originally was going to try and limit the packs that I had with this, but that didn't really work out. And I did say that I wasn't going to use the wallpapers from Get Together again, so you'll be maybe pleased to know that I haven't used them. I did use the door because I can't not use the door, but yeah, I haven't used the wall paint. So I have been finding lots of nice debug items that I haven't used before. They're not new by any means, like these ones are base game and they've obviously been in the game for a really long time. I just haven't ever used them, and after, I don't remember what build it was, maybe like a couple builds ago, I found like a nice wall that I really liked, and so I was going through them and found this one. So these are from Jungle Adventure, I think. They do come as like a normal fence option, and these are like the debug versions. So there was a wall paint that I wanted to use from the base game that had like a really nice edge trim on it. Unfortunately it doesn't work properly if you don't have like an exact square room. They kind of don't show up, and I really wanted to use it but obviously couldn't because I've got like bump outs and things, so I had to create my own, which is a little bit chunkier than I probably would have liked, and I don't have any choice in color because this is the only swatch of this item, but I'm not complaining because I think it looks really cool. And it's definitely something that could be used for multiple different build types, not just like this little cottagey type house thing, but you could probably use it on like castles and things too, which I think is really cool. And these pieces rotate really nicely with tool, which I wasn't expecting. I'm kind of, whenever I try, I'm half expecting things just to disappear or shrink or change shape. So I'm really kind of pleased when I find things that do actually rotate properly. So I have basically just added this piece of decoration on all of the corners just to make it look a little bit more interesting. So as you've probably noticed from the title and the thumbnail and everything, I have used a lot of the sunflower items in this. I've sized just a lot of them up and just gone a little bit overboard maybe with sunflowers. I do really like them, and I've been wanting to do a sunflower house cottage sort of thing for a really long time, and every time I go to do it, I get distracted and ended up building something completely different. As I'm sure you know, and a lot of you are probably the same, I spend a lot of time on Pinterest and looking up different things, different color schemes, different style ideas, design ideas, you know. And I've recently been looking at like miniature like dolls houses and little rooms and things like that I can just quickly build, and I came across one this morning of a lounge room, but it was like a Christmas lounge room and I got really excited and really wanted to build it, and then remembered that it's still July. Was like, oh, now I have to wait because like I can't build a Christmas room in July. Like there's several holidays that come between now and Christmas. Like I need to be patient and I need to wait. But yeah, I get a little bit ahead of myself sometimes, especially when I find things that are inspiring to me, and I tend to just like, you know, go a little bit off, not maybe off tangent, I don't know, kind of like I am now. Anyway, so I work on the landscaping first, like I always do, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this other than just sunflowers. So I tried out a couple of different like bushes and plants and things, and end up just sticking with, I think they're get together like shrubs, and I think I use maybe like lavender or something, and that's pretty much it other than sunflowers. So we keep it pretty simple. I do like to only use like a handful of different things, because otherwise I end up getting confused at what I've used, and I might have a plant in there that like it doesn't necessarily match like the style and everything that I'm going for. So these are ivy pieces from Discover University. I use them a lot too. Like every single build I think I use them. I just really like the look of them, and most of the houses and things that I make, they aren't particularly modern, so it kind of feels like, I don't know, maybe the houses I build are a little bit older, so it makes sense to me that they might have like ivy and flowers and things growing up the sides of them. It also adds that little bit extra kind of to the outside when there's not much else to look at. So like for this wall paint, for example, it's literally just, I think it's like concrete, and so it just adds like a nice detail. So this little number that I have added on the front is by Jules64 on the gallery. It's no CC art, and I have used another number from a different creator before, but I obviously didn't save it, or maybe I deleted it, I don't know, but I had to find a new one. But this one I really like. I think actually I do have another one of their pieces, but I think it wasn't a white background, I think it was like a dark grey maybe. But yeah, if you want numbers or letters or anything like that, then this creator does loads of no CC gallery art, which I really like all of their pieces. So now we are on to the sunflowers, and as you can see, I literally just add them everywhere. This grass piece I think is from, looks like Snowy Escape. I really like it, and I don't know what it is about adding like grass like this, but it just looks overgrown, and it adds just a little bit extra to the base of these because they're just like on sticks. The sunflowers, so when you look at the ground around them, they just kind of look a little bit bare, so adding these grass pieces just makes it look a little bit more natural, I think. So I sized a couple of them up and down with the tool mod just to create different heights. These single sunflowers are a lot bigger than the, I think they're like the triple ones, and so when you kind of change the size of them, they are very, very different. So I just wanted to create more of like a I don't know, consistency in growth, just to make it again look a little bit more natural. So out here I was going to add maybe like some harvestables or something, but I thought it kind of just didn't make sense. I mean, if you wanted to download this and change one of the sections into like a, I don't know, like a little allotment or farming area, then there's enough space to do that. But it just, for this story of the sim I had in mind, it just didn't really make sense to have things like that. I did add obviously an easel because it was inspired by the painting career in the bed, so it made sense to have an easel here. I have put it in the back corner where we were just working, so it kind of overlooks like the sea a little bit, which I think is really nice for like paint from reference things. I also add a flower arranging table, even though we can't harvest sunflowers in the game, which is kind of a shame. But it made sense, you know, that if you have this many sunflowers, you're probably gonna make bouquets and arrangements and things from them. I've tried to get all of the different sunflower items that I could find, all of the different like plant things, and what else is there? I think there's like a utensils pot and a painting. I haven't used the modern one, it just didn't fit, you know. But I've tried to use all of those other items in the house because I thought, you know, if this person grows sunflowers for a living or just around their house, then they obviously like them, so they're gonna have them everywhere. So this piece of wall here just looked a little bit plain to me. I didn't really know what to do with it, and I've used the medium wall height so that I could get the like overhang awning thing in, and it just made the walls look a little bit too big when I've used such tiny little windows. But I found that these I think they're thorn pieces from the vampires pack worked really well to kind of fill in the different gaps. I didn't particularly want more ivy, but I thought they added just a little bit more extra, and they come in this really nice yellow swatch which tied in really nicely with the sunflowers too. I've used mostly like I think a more natural wood color scheme inside, but I have used yellow as like an accent piece maybe. I've used the new they're not really new now, are they? The base game update that we had a couple months ago. We got those really nice chairs. I used those, and I change out that fireplace a little bit later to the base game one. I don't know what it's called, the big one. The really big one. But I put the flower arranging table here. I was going to put it in this brown swatch, but then I found that the yellow one just looked a little bit nicer. And yeah, this lot definitely would be probably best played in summer, just because it just seems like a really nice kind of, I don't know, it just gives me like a summer feeling looking at it. So I wanted to put some cups or glasses or something on this table with this water pitcher, but I couldn't find any that wouldn't like go smelly after a while. So these ones are actually paint cups, so they do have like a, I don't know what it is, like a measure mark on the side in red, but you can't really see it from, you know, from the front angle. It's only if you look at it from sideways, so it looked okay to me. You can kind of see it there. But all of the other glasses, like, they go green and smelly, and I didn't want to use them because then, you know, if anyone wanted to play in it, then they've got stinky glasses on the table, and that's just not fun. So yeah. So this home is, I believe, a tier 2 tiny home. I can't read what that blue bar says at the top, it's way too blurry, but I'm pretty sure it's tier 2, and it's probably only suitable for one sim, maybe two if your game lets you scoot across the bed. Mine doesn't, mine never has. So I'm pretty jealous of those people that get to do that, because I've never experienced that myself. So I add quite a lot of decoration to this bathroom, even though it's very tiny. I didn't really know kind of what I was doing layout wise. I had an idea for obviously like the exterior and the shower and everything, but then when it came to, you know, furnishing and trying to figure out a floor plan, it actually took me a really long time. So I kind of cut out most of my indecisiveness, and it ended up actually working really well with this layout. So over here we have a little kitchen. It's very, very tiny, and I've tried not to add anything on the 2 counter spaces, and my sim could still cook perfectly fine. I'm kind of planning ahead a little bit in that when the new update comes, you have the option of like cooking in a group, like with children and things, which means depending on how many people you choose to cook with, you need that many free counter spaces. So for example, if you had a parent and they wanted to cook with their partner or with their child, you would need like 2 free counter spaces. So I'm trying to include more than just 1, because that's what I normally do. I only include 1 free counter space because I like my clutter, but I'm trying to minimize it just a little bit so that it's a little bit more playable like in the future, but we'll see. I haven't used tools to move that utensils pot. I kind of move the counter out of the way, so it's technically like hovering. But I have had trouble lately in that even though I've used like the red shelf or whatever to place things and they're not directly placed on a counter, my sim still can't use the counter. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but hopefully they'll still be able to use it. They did when I play tested it, so fingers crossed. Above here I add a couple of shelves, which is where I've added all of my normal clutter item pieces that I would have otherwise put on the counter, and it also, you know, filled in a nice wall space. So I've added this bell in here. I think it's from Seasons. I think it's like the grand meal bell. My idea was that, you know, if I don't know, there's obviously no spaces in here for children, but if you had your sim want to call people in for dinner, for example, I don't know, maybe they've got guests over and they're fishing or something, they can just like you know, step out the door and ring the bell and say, hey, dinner. I mean, it's not functional at all, but that was kind of just my imagination just going, you know. In theory they could, even though it's not technically possible in the game. So I used this piece from the, I don't know whether, is it Dream Home Designer or Dream Home Decorator, because I've heard different people call it different things and I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but from that pack I've used this. It doesn't really fit in the style, but I really wanted to use the hanging clothes, and you can't use them anywhere unless you use the like corresponding item that they hang from. So the style's not quite right, but I wanted it because it had a nice hat on it and I thought the hat matched. I really struggled trying to use pick a sofa to use. None of them really had the right colour swatches in the browns that I wanted to use for the wood and the yellow, and the style just wasn't right either, so I just ended up going with the base game one, and it's kind of not the coziest looking one, but I still think it looks okay. So these are the chairs that I mentioned earlier. I wanted to use the paranormal table, but again it just didn't have the right colours on it. If they had just like a basic wooden swatch with the white tablecloth over the top, I think that would have been perfect, but it was just all white and it was just too much. So I'm trying to figure out where to put all of these sunflowers. I could have just deleted one of them and left it, but that's not me, so I had to find somewhere to put it. I also wanted to include everything that your sim might need. Normally, like something like this, I probably wouldn't have included like a computer or a laptop or anything, because it's kind of seems like it could potentially be an off the grid lot. But since your sims need a laptop or a computer to do pretty much anything now, I kind of feel like I need to include them in all of my builds, which is a shame, but you know, I have included one. It's just over the other side. So here I was going to originally add like a sideboard or something. I do add a sideboard, but I was originally going to have this kind of bench seat set up sort of thing with a table next to it and put the TV up there, because I wasn't sure whether it would even fit next to the fireplace, but it did fit pretty well, so I just end up turning this into like an entryway. I wasn't entirely sure whether adding this kind of makeup palette thing was I wasn't sure whether it really fit, because I didn't want to limit anybody to who could live here, if that makes sense. So if you have like a single male sim, for example, then I wanted them to be able to live here too without it needing too much kind of redecorating. But you know, men can wear makeup if they want to, so I figured it didn't really matter. Here I spent ages again trying to figure out a rug. I end up going with this one. I liked the little tassels on the ends and I think they look really cute, so I'm just adding some paintings and trying to figure out how to add a bookcase in, because they're all really big and I couldn't figure it out. So I end up adding some books back on that side table, and then we've got a little desk in here. Doesn't really match, but it's fine. So we are coming to the end of the video today. I really hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think. Do you even like sunflowers? Because I really do. But yeah, let me know what you think. Like this video if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more of my content in the future. I'm really enjoying building at the moment, so yeah, I hope you like it too. So yeah, let me know what you think and hopefully I will see you all next time. Bye everyone.